Welcome to Security Confidential by Dark Rhino Security, where we get together and talk about all things information security. I'm Tyler, an information security practitioner at Dark Rhino Security.
Hi, my name is Nathan. I am a security engineer with Dark Rhino Security.
And I'm Sunena. Today we're going to talk about cybersecurity basics. So where should we start?
Cybersecurity basics tells me the very first thing is end user. End user, awareness and training. The most vulnerable part of any organization is its end user. I think companies don't really appreciate or understand what security is, and they hear the term security and they panic right off the bat. They're like, oh, it's going to be expensive. Well, I mean, every year companies have corporate compliance training and user training. All you need to do is take 15 minutes of that and incorporate some form of cybersecurity. Typically, we would like to include phishing scams, password, stuff like that. And bam, you have an educated staff. That's it. Knowing is half the battle. You train your users and there's a good portion of your concern that goes away, because be it phishing, malware, it usually ends up with someone having opened an email, or gone to a website that, God forbid, the sysadmins didn't block, and you're not going to stop the employee. The employee's going to have time off. They're going to go on the internet, and they're going to look at emails, and there's no 100% block for any of that. So the faster and more thorough you train your staff, the easier it's going to be on your IT staff, on your attorney budget, and just everything as a whole.
Yeah, and if you fail to educate people about security, you can invest millions in security. And Steve from accounting, who doesn't know what he's doing, clicks on a link in an email, and he's completely negated every measure you've implemented.
I feel so bad for accounting. It's always someone from accounting.
It's always somebody from accounting. Right? Yeah, it's
Chris, Mark, Steve.
I mean, they're the ones that have the money, so it's not like somebody's hitting us up for.
Well, oftentimes, I mean, it's all the malware is about money, and they're gonna go right to the throat for that one.
I mean, and I guess the larger thing is targeted training is, the people who have the ability to control funds and direct them should be at the upper end of the priority list as far as receiving this training goes. But yeah, I mean, again, you do everything right, but if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, they'll screw it up.
Yeah, because you can't protect people from themselves. I mean, that's honestly a good portion of what these appliances and GFWs, everything do is they make this attempt to protect the end user from themselves. And there's no such thing. You just need to train. It all comes down to training. It really does. Start training people and just, watch the incidents drop.
Yeah.
And at the same time too, while you train, and if you do run into an incident, train the end user on how, what they did, what it caused, how to remediate, and the more you educate, even in troubleshooting, you make them more knowledgeable, more powerful, more capable of, preventing that in the future.
Yeah. I mean, and education could take a few forms. I mean, if someone does something that violates company policy, in previous organizations where I was running the DLP program for the enterprise, you come into it and you'd see 200, 300 hits a day on the DLP system, violations of policy. And you go and you ask somebody like, why are there so many? And they go, oh, well, we can't bother these people. They're too important. We don't want to upset them with anything. So don't bother them. And I didn't listen to that at all. I did the exact opposite, and it took about 90 days. But we cut that number to a third of what it was, just because when you looked at who it was the same people violating that policy, and you never reach out and tell them you're violating a policy, and you never educate them on the proper way of doing something. They're not going to change. It's like, looking at the neighbor kid, expecting him to mow your grass, but never saying anything to him about it. It's not going to get the lawn cut that way. And the same thing with fixing human issues within the enterprise. Because again, most of those people that were violating the policy were violating it because it was part of a broken business practice that was never addressed. And when you go back to them and you say, look, we have a special thing for what you're trying to do right now. Do it this way. Stop doing it the way you were doing it. Yeah. People want to do the right thing. They just need to know what that is.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you guys for listening. For more information on, we will include some resources in the show notes, so check those out. Also, please subscribe to our podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.